Okay. Alright. Let me just skip my video capture here in view, and I'm gonna move the microphone a little bit just so you guys can clearly see my face. But alright. Okay, so go. Jeez, so small. Okay. Uh, maybe. Yeah, maybe something like this. Okay. So, while. Okay, so I just got off another stream. Another stream meaning that I viewed Phil One Up streams. Uh, Phil is an awesome guy who just put a birthday stream out like not too long ago at around like 1 or 2, and honestly, if you guys could check him out as well, I really would appreciate you guys would go ahead and send him some birthday wishes, send him your support, whatever you gotta do, and you know that sort of thing. So another fellow creator, that I really like. I hope you guys go ahead and support him as well. Just show him some love, show him, just really something. So I'm gonna put his like name in the chat to for you guys to check him out. So yeah, so all right, let's get it started. I'm just gonna put some music here because it's kind of the vibe right now. Because I really got back from uh, just from resting on the bed because I because I was here. I was like at a park the whole day. I had some barbecue and stuff. During the day. So I was tired. So went to go rest a little bit before doing this. So but we're gonna check out some gaming magazines today. Um, Really quick, I'm gonna turn out the music just so I can share this. But if you guys remember, the Nintendo Power or the Electronic Gaming Monthly, Game Informer magazines, the the gaming magazines that were peak, that were pretty much, you know, the go-to before this whole internet YouTube thing came along, and it was just amazing. So um, I feel as though these magazines are not in production anymore. They're not even printed anymore, from what I know. There's still a few I think around, but mostly all the gaming magazines that I've seen, they're like they're defunct. They're just not around anymore. They're not printing them anymore. So, but I wanted to check this out because it's part of gaming, and these are really cool. I I really did enjoy some of these magazines. I'm not like one, for magazines or any type of advertisement, but when it comes to Nintendo Power Electronic Gaming Monthly, it's amazing. It's amazing. So, these were pretty good in their days, and they're still really great. There's still people collecting them and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and check out a PDF for these things, because I'm not gonna go out and purchase all of these different magazines, the physical things here. Even though, yes, it would be really nice that I could buy every single damn magazine, from Nintendo Power or anything else, But I just won't want to see the thing for that, But um, yeah, so the cover looks pretty cool. First off, I picked the Super Mario Brothers 3 one because it stands out, and the cover is really cool. Like the sun, by the way, and just bold fonts, and just how Nintendo advertised this particular game at the time. And of course, back in the 90s, Super Mario Bros. 3 was all the rise, and of course, the Super Mario Brothers games are all the rise as well. And just something to talk about, like a topic to talk about, uh, you know. But like I said, it's things like this that get me so mesmerized. And one thing I don't really like is like the Nintendo, gold thing that kind of needs to be, dumbed down a little bit because it's like a lot brighter than it is. Even though, yes, kind of remnant of the sun, which is which is what I feel that could be. Okay, and this is from Internet Archive. So if anybody wants to check out the Internet Archive, I'm gonna put the link here in the chat. I'm gonna put it in this. So all right. So let's see. I'm gonna put this in the chat because why not? It's really cool. So anyway, headline: Hey, it's twice the power, and now it's now every month. So you can subscribe to these things, which is really good. I'll be completely honest. I don't know what they do. If you subscribe, I haven't really done any research when it comes to these, but they're really cool from what I hear, and they're strategy guides too as well. Um, all right, Nintendo Power. You can't get with it without it. Introducing Nintendo's new Mega Power Package. 12 big issues a year. Now you can have those great Nintendo Play Lego Pro tips coming in every month. 12 times a year for more can't win without them tips, techniques, and play style pointers. Pointers, I read that very wrong. 6 better than ever issues in Nintendo Power. With our new Mega Power subscription package, 1 month and you'll get Nintendo Power. And then the next month, there's new special edition strategy guide will arrive. Plus 6 issues in Nintendo's new Play to Win special edition strategy guide. Whatever all this is, I'm not gonna read all of that. But there's a strategy guide, and I think this is like a new issue as well. That new issue, and that everything about advertisement on the strategy guides and just what you can do to get them. So, and then there's the contents. The important stuff: Mario Bros. 3, Silent Service, Pinbot 720, A Boy and His Blob, Wrath of the Black Manta, Astronauts, just a bunch of games, featured, and then, the special features, the games that are about to come out soon, I think. Don't know. But yeah, this is like a 1990 issue. But pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. And then credits and stuff like that. Just amazing. Alright. Oh dear, oh dear. Here we go. I'm gonna put on some music, cause why not? Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, I could. That would be actually really amazing. Yeah, that would be pretty amazing. I'll be completely honest. They look absolutely amazing. So, why not? Alright. I'm gonna turn kind of the volume down on this, see if I can. There we go. Okay. Next thing here. So, mailbox, the good ship Nintendo. A while ago, my family and I went out for the weekend, and I left my NES in the basement rec room. When we got home, we found that a water pipe in the street had busted and had flooded the basement. Immediately, I thought, great, my NES is ruined. What else could go wrong? Well, I got the biggest surprise of my life. I had my NES in a small box to protect it from carpet fibers. Little did I know that it would be protected from the flood as well. There, in the middle of the water-filled room, was my NES floating in that box. My NES turned out to be the sole survivor. The carpet and everything was ruined. My dad learned a lesson from this. Now his golf clubs, the television, telephone, and lots of other home furnishings are in cardboard boxes patterned after my NES box. Thanks a zillion. I hope this story will bring you as many laughs as it did my dad after he calmed down, of course. Thank you for the great story, Kevin. We all got a great laugh out of it. Since it rains a lot here in the Pacific Northwest, maybe we should use your idea too. Double trouble. I was playing Mario Bros. 2 and fighting Mouser, but I got beat. On my next life, I saw two Mousers. Could you tell me what happened? The two Mousers phenomenon you witnessed is what is known as a game bug. Some games have minor programming inconsistencies in them that can occur infrequently during gameplay. Programmers try to take these bugs out of games before they are released. But before there are so many different things that can happen in today's advanced video games, these sometimes miss them, considering how rare these bugs are. The testers do a pretty good job. Some players enjoy finding these bugs and consider them special tricks. Useful or especially interesting bugs often find their way into our classified information section. I wrote to you a while ago asking for help on defeating Matic in the awesome NES game Strider. You replied that you wouldn't tell me because you felt it would be better for me to figure out how to beat the final enemy of the game on my own. Well, I finally did, and it felt great. Now Matic is a piece of cake. Thanks. Congratulations, Brent. Keep on playing and seeing what else you can master. And oh my goodness. So, here's where you can send like a lifeline to a number to send your story in Nintendo Power. Once again, or actually, we need your letters. Once again, we raise the call for interesting letters, important questions, and creative comments on the Nintendo Entertainment System or Nintendo Power. Send them in. We can't wait to hear from you. And then there's the information, the P.O. Box in Redmond, Washington. Nice, dude. Nice. That's pretty amazing, actually. I'll be completely honest. If Nintendo Power was still around today, I would honestly make call and make my story, public, because it would actually be really beneficial. Because why not? It would be cool to have like a page in Nintendo Power. It really would be. I'm not stealing you wrong. I'm not stealing you wrong, dude. I'm not stealing you wrong. Yeah, man. So, So I guess this next story. Oh dear, next story. Complaint. So here we go. Let's enjoy this story here and see what he says. The uh, the headline is "Enjoy in Moderation." I'm gonna just adjust quite a bit. Let's see. All right. When my 12-year-old brother first got his NES, all he did was play. He would not stop. His grades went down and he never did his chores. This went on until my father took the NES away before, but he learned a very important lesson. He could now play the NES until 5 p.m. Then he has to do his homework and chores. I am very proud of my brother. He does well with this game environment with this limitation, and just finished Mega Man 2. Recently, he got me and my 2-year-old brother Jake into the NES, and we love it too. Thanks again, Nintendo. You're the best. And then there's the information about the writer, about the person who sent the story in, and then there's a thank you. Thanks for writing, Cammy. We believe that it is important for everyone to balance their time between fun things like playing the NES and more important tasks like studying for school. Video Spotlight. Looking for a power player? Search no more with 17 games conquered and more on the way. I'm a surefire winner. Nintendo is the best hobby I ever had. I was the second one of my friends to get a Nintendo and 3 others. Got them soon after. In the afternoons, my friends and I always go to one of our houses to play Nintendo. I've even been known to play all night without stopping, although only on rare occasions. The games I conquered include many of the best: Super Mario Bros. 2, Metal Gear, Rayguard, and Metroid, Breakthrough, and Life Force were each beaten on the day I first played them, and a friend and I finished Contra after 4 hours of playing it. I'm president of a Nintendo club called the Video Warlords. We save up for club games. I'm 14. I have a dog named Benji, and I'm Nintendo's #1 fan. Another note: most of the games above were finished with Nintendo's standard controller, and none were finished with slow motion. Thank you for providing over 14 million of America's citizens with an ever cool hobby. I think I am a power player. I have had my Nintendo for a year now, and I love it. Some of the games I have beaten are Blades of Steel, Karate Kid, Iron Tank, Contra, both Super Mario Bros., Strider, and Mega Man 2. I am working on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ninja Gaiden. My general advice to other players: don't give up, but don't play too long. Extended play makes some players angry. Call the game counselors. They really help. Don't just buy a game with only beating it in mind. Instead, buy games for the fun of playing them. And then there's the cool art that they sent. That's pretty good. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. Alright. From Jess Fleming, age 14, Rocky Mountain. I'll just skip that part. When the NES came out, I wasn't that impressed. But after 2 months of everybody telling me how cool it was and how I had to get one, I gave in and bought it. That was the best move I ever made. Since then, I had countless hours of fun and excitement behind the NES, alone and with my friends. I also made a lot of new friends through Nintendo. Favorite games. I especially like adventure games where there is one hero and you're him. These games give you a bigger sense of accomplishment when you finish them. NES accomplishments. I have finished over 36 games, including Bionic Commando, The Adventure of Link, Ninja Gaiden, The Guardian Legend, Mega Man 2, and most recently, Dragon Warrior. Someday, I would like to be a graphics designer for a major software company. I already designed many of my own game characters on my personal computer, and even a full game. Super Duchmon, complete with ending screens, full stages, 20 different evil enemies, and 8 incredible challenging bosses. I plan to fully animate it and add digitized sound effects as well. Sorry if I couldn't pronounce everything. So, just bear with me here. And then, there's cool art from her here too. That's always something, and I always like the covers that they do for this. And here's Super Mario Bros. 3. It's so amazing. It really is amazing, dude. Even in the 90s, there were gamers who didn't know when to stop.
Doesn't every airline do assigned seating?
They do now.
Alright, let me. You should. Okay. Even in the 90s, there were gamers who didn't know when to stop. I actually found my dad's old NES a few days ago. It was a great moment of my life. Contra is awesome. The video Warlords is the most 80s thing I ever heard. That dog is dead. The 80s were an easier time. TV sucked, movies sucked, video games sucked. What a wonderful decade. You can full screen using the bottom on the at the bottom. Okay, thank you. By the way, thanks for that. Thank you for telling me. God, man. I'll be completely honest. Like it was just simpler back then. I couldn't picture like why. Let's see. Here we go. Full screen. So, like, honestly, it like I'll be completely honest. The 80s were a completely different time, and people. I guess many creators have said this, if not almost everybody, have said that the 80s was very different because gaming was sort of just not like very very popular. It was popular, but like many people didn't get it. They thought like gaming consoles were like toys, so like the NES was like considered a toy back then. It wasn't considered like this, like a gaming console back then because it was something new. But the people that young people, they saw as more as that, and the hobby really just started with that. And it's crazy to think about, like, in this day and age we that gaming has come so far, but it's now down in the crapper because like modern gaming is just taking taking a blow like this, like just gone downhill because the things that the industry has now done for years now, and it's like it's been since like the seventh or eighth generation that that these terrible things that companies have done uh, have gone on, and like here in the 80s and 90s, things were different. Things were completely different, and companies were relatively small. Some of them, like Nintendo, Sega, were relatively big because they started getting on the map and they started to get the marketing and stuff like that. It was just different times, man, different times. um so enough about that. Super Mario Bros 3, look out. Mario's back and the fun's about to begin. This is it. Mario and Luigi returning their biggest adventure yet. Super Mario Bros. 3 has more secrets, more tricks, and more outrageous obstacles than the first two Super Mario Brothers games put together. In fact, we can barely fit maps and tips to the first two worlds in these 8 pages. So let's go and see what we can find. Super items to help Mario on his way. These are the items Mario will come across in his quest to rid the mushroom worlds of Bowser's Koopa children. Find and use them all. The mushroom, the fire flowers, the tanuki suit, the frog suit, the hammer suit, all the typical ones, the raccoon suit, the P-wing, amazing, man. And then there's new ones, Cloud Jewel, Music Box, the hammer. Well, you can break boulders, and then the anchor, and then the whistles to transport you to other worlds. It was amazing. This game had a lot of things going for it, and even like the worlds were amazing. Many secrets to find, items, just a whole plethora of stuff. It was great. It was absolutely amazing, dude. It was absolutely freaking amazing. It really was. Like, you know, just think about it. Everything was just like a fad, but hey, it was amazing, really amazing. So um, yeah, this was stuff that you that it kind of is like a strategy guide for the most part. So this particular you know parts these particular parts, like the 8 pages, were kind of just like a strategy guide. It's really cool seeing the art, seeing the writing, seeing the wording on all of these things. It makes you think like what Nintendo was doing back then, when Nintendo cooked up back then. And, this was before, like, YouTube and the internet was really a thing, Internet was kind of around in the 80s, but it was not as popular as it was in the 2000s, or even now, because, you know, magazines were still the prevalent thing in this day and age. And, just saying all of this, I'm not gonna read this whole thing, and just because, it would take quite a while. But, just seeing the art and just seeing like what the wording was, just to get a guide out, it was amazing. It was relatively amazing. Even the background was pretty cool too, and just the art included, just amazing stuff, bro. Amazing stuff. And then the different games, that they would put in, and probably reviews too. I don't think I see a review in here, but uh, we'll see. But this seems like really cool though. This seems you it was a it kind of reminds me of like a time capsule though. It really does. Yeah. So I looking at your point, yeah, they act like it's so doom and gloom. Look, um, I'll be completely honest with you. Yeah, it may seem like people act gloom and doom about the city gaming now, but when you really look at it this way, for but when you look at it this way from a perspective of like passion of like gamers that really are tied into this hobby, and including us. Don't get me wrong, we're still part of the gaming community as much as everybody else, and I get that these conversations are are kind of getting old, but like I, at the end of the day, people still talk about this, and it, in a degree, it's like it hurts. Like it hurts to see how the industry has has gone downhill quite a bit, and I know like it may seem like it gets repetitive a lot of the time, but like coming from a perspective that gets to experience these games, from like checking it out, and just seeing what's out there, uh, like at some point you don't want to just check out at least one or two games that you might like. You might want to check out the whole scope, see what's going on. That's kind of my thing when it comes to this. Is really just something that comes to mind. But you know, um, people are different. Have different opinions, and it's kind of that way. So just just something to consider. Yeah, you got a good point. You got a really good point there. You really got a good point there. You really got a really good point there. It's not I'm gonna be completely honest. It's a point. It's a point to see that. But like I said, it's great. It's really great. Seeing all these games, and people really like these. Yeah, it's always been that way. It really has been. But like I'm gonna explain. It's pretty much a hobby that we almost enjoy. We're so passionate about it. I mean, yeah, there's a point where we get too passionate about this particular thing. I mean, yeah, it's always been like this. I mean, you had a point. You really have got a point. Like people I've already said this now, because I think I think most people, I think like in the 80s, or maybe like in the 90s, or I guess until like 2001 now, start to, they see a new product. I'll be completely honest, they see a new product. Yeah, you know it's quite the thing. Yeah, that's quite a good guess. Yeah, there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got a point. There's indie developers that create all these great indie games, and yeah, like you said, there. That's why there's such a decline. But at the end of the day, people really like to go on their opinions, and I'm guilty of this. I really am. I really am. I'm the most guilty when it comes to airing out opinions about the modern gaming industry. I'm not. I'm not gonna lie and say that I haven't give out my true and honest opinions about the industry, and I guess one or two other people too. But it's how the mind works. I It's just how the human mind works, and it really comes down to just the mindset of people who game. I'm guilty of this as well. you know it really comes down, it boils to a point. Yes, it kind of does get tiring. So I see the point. I see really the point. um yeah, cool art, by the way. And the electronics show, the consumer electronics show, just an awesome way to get things. You know, action, motorized madness, cartoons, and comics. Nice, nice, dude, nice. This is really amazing. I guess this is before E3 was really prevalent, even though I think E3 started. I have no idea when E3 started. I think it started like in the 90s or something like that. problem isn't the industry. It's just our minds that think is the way. Yeah, it turns around and becomes our problem. We're making it our problem because we're just inclined to see or play these different games because we are kind of just dedicated fans of gaming and stuff like that. Like like I'll be completely honest. I look at games. I look at at games that really interests me, and I get so passionate because I have an opinion. I try. My mind is just in one place. That it's just give an opinion to to talk about a certain topic, and it's good, but at one point it kind of gets too much, which I can completely understand. Many people will probably say that it's kind of just it get like a topic gets old sometimes when you talk about it so much. Because think about when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2. There's lots of coverage on the Nintendo Switch 2. People have been talking about this system for God knows how long, and people don't stop with the particular opinions about the system. Like I given my opinion on this particular system as well. You know I'm not gonna put it out there and say I did not. I did. And I haven't even bought the system because I don't want to. Yeah, I mean, yeah, true. And and believe it or not, I don't own a Switch 2 because I really just don't see the point. Yeah, I resisted buying the Switch 2. Like, yeah, I mean, to be honest, it shouldn't be that hard. I mean, I I like I don't buy many games. Like if I want to try something, like an old retro game or something like that, I boot up the Switch because it's something that I like to do, and it's something that I enjoy time to time, and it's kind of like my guilty pleasure some of the time. I'll be the first to admit it. It's quite a bit like this. Pinball looks pretty cool. Look at this. This is amazing, dude. Even this looks quite amazing. Look at this. This is great. Even the little pictures that come around, even the headlines. That's that's great. That's really great. You know, that's really great. I like this. I really do. That's amazing, dude. That's really amazing. Um, damn. Questions. This is like great, man. This is great. You're already contributing to a better tomorrow. Yes, I know I am because look, I, I, I'll be honest. I play the Switch a little bit on my own time. I play even though I've said so many times that I don't like the new Super Mario Bros. Games. I still do it because I still go ahead and play those games because those are the games that I have, and I still boot them up time to time because it's like a guilty pleasure of mine. It really is. It really is. So it sort of is like that. 720 looks kind of cool too, and even the game board here too looks pretty amazing, and just the art and stuff, just great, man, just amazing. Mm. Then there's deals here too, just 25 cents jump, pad shop, shoe stops, solemn ramp, all these different things. That's just cute. That's just amazing, dude. And just the art that comes with it, it's great. Hone your skills on the rookie course. First stop downhill, which it kind of is like this. So it's kind of like based around the games. Which is what I enjoy here. Which it kind of is based on the games because they're games that were released at this time and games that were honestly just something that were just something to get hyped about at this point in time. Another one of these, which is honestly, this one is pretty great. Uh, I'm not gonna read all of this, extra stuff because, it's I could I could read up about this, but probably people wouldn't want me to cover all this stuff, without getting bored. So I'll just move on to the next page. And all these headlines make it really convincing. They really do make it really convincing. And advertising was different back then. It was really different, really just different. Um, nice. Even comics. This is great. Nice, dude. Howard and Nestor. Nice, dude. That's. This is like it had almost everything in here. Not a surprise though, because they marketed this as kind of like a fun sort of magazine, which I'll be completely honest, like, like they don't make things like this nowadays. Which, yes, you can get all this reviews and stuff, in just about anywhere in the face of the internet, but this is great. This is amazing. Just looking at this makes me kind of mesmerized to kind of see what's going on. And I never owned a Nintendo Power magazine, but maybe I just start collecting these now because they look absolutely amazing. And I love looking at this stuff because it's great. It's really great, and I might want to stop at some point because I'm not gonna just look at Nintendo Power all day. But these are really cool games, though. Nice, dude. That's amazing. Top 30. Jeez, man. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mega Man, Super Mario Bros. 2. Just a little summary of the games and, a ranking. That's how the ranks were back then. That's great, man. And all big and bold and just something to really go to really good to really just put it in there. And there's even a key too. This is our top 30. Yeah, okay, top 30. So yeah, this is amazing, dude. This is amazing. Oh man, game points. Just honestly, man. And then previews. Oh, dude, the Final Fantasy one looks really cool. Look at this. This is so amazing, dude. This is so amazing. The Final Fantasy one, the role playing game. Damn, dude. This is this is amazing. That's cool. That's cool. Oh my god. I have to take a picture of this at one point. I really do. Holy crap. This just. This is probably my favorite thing on the thing on the Nintendo Power magazine. This is just amazing. Even though it kind of gives like a preview of what the game is gonna do, but that's amazing, dude. Getting you just hyped for these games, it's amazing. Viper, or whatever the name of the game is. I if I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. But damn, they they really put a lot of work in. Like the illustrators didn't really just sugarcoat all of this. They put in the work to put these magazines together. It makes me sad that that people that made these magazines, or and people that that put their hard earned work into this is just going away. And I mean, yeah, we're kind of contributing to the problem with AI, but this is just amazing, dude. This is amazing. This is awesome, man. Even the Super C thing is just amazing. Stage one. Pictures of the games that are coming out here. Amazing, dude. And then there's the guy with the gun, and then there's another guy. Oh, just really cool. Super C again. Nintendo Power. Dragon Warrior. Seriously. Holy crap, dude. Holy crap. Now I can check this out all day if I really wanted to, but I really just want to get to the other magazines too. Um, yeah, dude. Super C. Dragon Warrior. All great games, dude. All great games. Yeah, man. Dragon Warrior. Um, yeah, it's kind of basically like a strategy guide of some sorts. And then there's the new Game Boy that released at the time, the 90s. Back in the 90s, late 80s, Game Boy was all the craze. Then and then there's a game featured for it. Just amazing, dude. Amazing. Game Boy games came out here too. Great, dude. That's amazing. I can't believe this, dude. Yeah, I really can't believe this. This is just great. I'll be back. I'm gonna go ahead and probably get the next few magazines we're gonna look at here. I can look at this all day. I really could, but I'm not gonna bore you with this one particular magazine. I'm gonna look for another one. So I'll be put on break. So BRB. All right, guys, I'm back. I'm back with the Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine. I got the gaming magazine uh, off of the video of the Internet Archive, the PDF. So yeah, this is the Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine. So this is a really cool. This is a really cool cover. I'll be completely honest with you, and I'm gonna turn the music back on. So, uh, but this is absolutely amazing. So, um, just yeah. So this is like another magazine, so I'm gonna be checking out one of the more of the major magazines. There's some that still exist. Like I said, that still exist, but let's see. All right. First on the cover here, we got the critic spoken action adventure game of the year. Now on Sega Now on Sega Dreamcast. Legend of Kain Soul River. And there's the reviews from IGN, the Expert Gamer magazine, the Gaming Age, PS Extreme magazine. That's pretty good, bro. So let's let's read these and see. A technical achievement, Soul River delivers an epic piece of vampiric literature. Soul Reaper is a deep game possessed with a myriad of impressive little touches. 3D exploration and adventure at its finest. Game of the month. Soul Reaper's environment is jaw-dropping at 98%. As reasonable stock, Nor's God feeding on the souls of your enemies. Engage your creator keen is an epic struggle for dominance. Dark gothic story, no low times. And then there's the logos and the ESRB rating and the PC CD-ROM, because the PC used to have CD-ROMs back then. Modern computers can now get games on Steam now, and you can download them at a fast pace. But you had to get a CD-ROM for your PC just to play a game, for PC. So that was back then. Alright. And there's some other games too. Choco Bono's Dungeon 2, Squaresoft, amazing game. Mario Party 2. Like the Mario Party 2 art, by the way. Get the place jumping with art with 5 new adventure boards and 64 mini games. It's the most fun you'll have at a party without being grounded. Only for Nintendo 64. Awesome, man. Just awesome. And then there's table of contents. Arcades, don't let them die. There's a whole list of things that I probably won't read. Contributing writers. Oh man, just things that I'm missing here. I'm really missing. 22 Psych Force, The Beating of the Minds. The year is 2012. You and the Psych Warriors are in rebellion against a ruthless renegade army. Defeat the enemy with brutal psych attacks, command magic, lightning, and all the earth's elements. Fight mind to mind and hand to hand. Suspended high above city skylines and spectacular 360 3D anime combat. Unlock the power of your mind as you wield Psychic Force 2012. 360 degrees of mind-blowing fury, and the game information on the bottom too. That's pretty cool. So these were just pretty much ads, but pretty good ads actually, considering the time it was. Amazing. I'm gonna look at this for a minute. Amazing, dude. The most frightening game of the year. Next gen. Raw Instinct takes over in this new adrenaline pumping journey into survival horror from the creators of Resident Evil. Your convert mission to infiltrate an isolated island compound has gone haywire. Now you find yourself pursued by a relentless prehistoric terror. Suddenly your mission becomes a desperate fight for survival. Nice, dude. Nice. That's great. I swear. That's amazing. Crap. That's great. It's a really cool horror game. Yeah, most of these are pretty much ads, but they're really cool though. They're really cool. Even though we watch ads relentlessly nowadays, and ads are I'm gonna say again, we have opinions on the ads, but still these were really cool gaming ads because they were something to talk about. It was great. Coming soon on whatever system it was. In this case, it's a Nintendo 64. Just amazing, dude. Listen to letters to the editors. Letter of the month. So we got letters to the editors. So we'll just read about this and see. Multiplayer games coming too soon. I must express my deep concern about the recent obsession with multiplayer games in your magazine. This obsession has become a lot more apparent, especially now that the next-gen systems are going to eventually offer networking capabilities. To be honest, I'm not overly fond of the current multiplayer games that are available on the N64. The main reason being that all my friends live in what if eventually all games are made into online games like EverQuest. Where does that leave guys like me? This magazine has no substance. To be honest, yeah, it's kind of like an ad campaign, I guess. But there's a really great stories, I guess. Don't know. I guess Nintendo Power could beat that, I guess, because it's just like a bunch of kids and parents you know just like airing their opinions like we do now. But that was the thing back then. I live in dorms, or at least in town, and I live in the countryside. They have friends around them all the time. I see my friends about 5 times per year. See my problem? They play multiplayer games constantly, so they become great at them. I play games with myself, so I can't practice for multiplayer. Therefore, I suck at multiplayer. With this networking thing looming on the horizon, I'm only getting more wary. What if eventually all games are made into online things like a request? Or does that leave guys like me who don't have cable, therefore no cable modem? Don't want a satellite dish and buy them more than one of the systems? I already have internet access. Why should I sign up for at least 2 more services just to play games on the Dreamcast and PS2? Dude, that's amazing, man. Actually, from 1792. That's great, dude. That's really great. Man, if you eventually find that book, if you actually buy it, man, that would be That's pretty sweet. I wonder how much in value it is nowadays. Why should I have to sign up for at least 2 more online services just to play games on the Dreamcast and PS2? Also, did Sega try the network thing with the Genesis? I seem to remember having been really bad and not having much support from the company. If gamers want connectivity with the network, you should buy PC. Content gaming should be kept pure, like it always has been, an alternative to watching the crap on television that pauses entertaining. Yeah, thank you, man. Of course. It looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna read any more of this because, I just don't see the need for it. But damn, let me look at this listing here. Oh, damn. It is 1792. Oh crap, dude. It really is. Holy crap, it is. Jeez, dude. Great find, man. Amazing, dude. That's great. Nice. Yeah, I looked at the thing there. It looks absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Don't know why these pictures are here though. Don't know why. I guess it's promoting Die Hard, the trilogy 2, Viva Las Vegas. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Anyway, I'm trying to give my, more letters and just more complaining here. Yeah, only $70 too. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing, dude. Yeah. Honestly, I think, yeah, cause I think it goes for quite a bit of value. Cause I think pretty great, man. It's a really great find though. It's a really great find. Um, really cool picture though here too. Damn, why are these so much storage here? Lots of questions, and then there's an ad again. Like honestly, this doesn't have any substance at all. So we're just gonna go to the next one. I think I have next one here. I think I posted it on my Twitter at one point. So let's see. Let's go into my profile. Next one we're gonna look at, even though the game Electronic Gaming Monthly was just terrible. I just thought that would be cool to show off, but it seems that the magazine itself just contains like ads and shit, But whatever. So we're gonna look at Game Informer. I'm gonna look at Game Informer next. Because I don't want to look at these magazines for too long. I just don't want to make it such a long stream, that people are bored. So we're gonna do Game Informer. Informer magazine PDF. Alright. Next. Alright. And this is actually a magazine promoted by GameStop, actually. So, this should be fun. And the cover is looking almost about the same as the Electronic Monthly Gaming one. So I'm not off to a great start. So let's check this out and see what we got. Ugh. All right. Oh gosh, more ads for one game again. More ads. More ads and strategy guide stuff. Don't know why this is here. Just weird. That the Slugfest 2004 one is pretty cool. If anybody's like a baseball fan, it's awesome. This is really amazing. Slugfest 2004 cheerleaders. Yeah. Don't know why the cheerleaders are in here. They're just kind of weird, but anyway. This is for anyone who is a baseball fan. This is will probably resonate. More sports games, whatever. It's just a whole ad fest here. Oh, human anatomy. Great. You get a human anatomy lesson. And then, the table of contents, and then the subscription renew, This is when GameStop really just wanted to get you to renew their subscription of Game Informer. Yeah. But it's cool seeing all these different people that work on this stuff. It's pretty great. But it's just more ads. That's why I'm probably just gonna skip this one for now. The reviews are probably at like the very end. So we're just... the reviews are probably at the very end. So this is like stuff that games have already come out, so. And then The Getaway, PS2. Anybody remembers that? That's amazing. King of Route 66 for PS2. PS2 gratis Among Us. Just a bunch of ads. There's really no things to unpack here. Even though there's like Midnight Club and stuff. Midnight Club's a pretty cool game. MVP Baseball 2003. Baseball fans again. Honestly, pretty cool. Yeah, I just more ads. Okay. Next freaking magazine. All of these are really cool, but I'm not gonna spend so much time on them. Because why not? So, next is... Nintendo Power, we took a look at that. Electronic Gaming Monthly, we took a look at that. It was horrible. Game Informer, the same as the Electronic Gaming Monthly, a bunch of ads. Computer Gaming World. Alright. Okay. Think this will probably be our last one. Maybe? Yeah, there's so much. There's so much ads. Yeah, I'll be completely honest, like, they're cool to look at, don't get me wrong, they're really cool to look at, but there's like a bunch of these magazines, like, they're so filled to the brim with ads. It's not even funny, so we'll just do computer, let's see. Computer, let's see. Computer Gaming World. Gaming World magazine. Let's see the PDF. PDF archive. We'll look at this last one, then we'll get out of here. Cause, I'm not gonna go ahead and view all these in their entirety. Cause it's gonna be almost like 5 or 6 freaking hours that we don't even get to the end of this stream. So, but yeah, a cool cover by the way with different games, which is really great. You gotta love a guy who thinks the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Fireworks is a convenience store. Duke Nukem 3D, Podum Pack could get some more. An all-new episode with new levels, new weapons, and new aliens to spot from the original creators. Full version of Duke Nukem 3D required. And then there's the stuff from Duke Nukem 3D. Such a cool game, by the way. Cool art, by the way, here. That's amazing. More strategy guide stuff here. More cover stories. And then add. That was cool, by the way. And then this, whatever. I can't even tell why he's fighting there. Just don't understand why. Join the FAQs and frequently asked questions thing, and then there's the people that worked on the magazine and stuff. But this art is pretty cool though. That's the one thing that's really cool. But these are just like these are like just physical ads. But they're really good. And then there's the rate system here. It's sad that a bunch of these magazines have the interesting stuff till like the end. So the reviews for Komachi 3, Phase 2, and F22 Whiteling 2. And then an ad for computer, personal computer. Okay. I'm not even gonna look at this now because it's like it's a bunch of ads. So what's the point of like just viewing this in its entirety? Yeah, Duke Nukem Duke Nukem 3D is such an embarrassment. All right. Yeah. All right. But honestly, man, I thought these magazines were gonna be really great. I mean, the art is great. Don't get me wrong, it really is. But like, it's a bunch of ads for different sets of games. I mean, I didn't really expect much coming into this, but it's like I could just view these ads somewhere else, or I don't want to view ads at all. But yeah, yeah, it's just there's no point in just reading through the entire magazine because I don't want to read like ads and stories and stuff. Stories are kind of interesting, but they take up one or two sections of a magazine, and then it's just like people complaining like uh, like like meaningless things, I guess, in the magazine to send their story in, with the information and stuff. Most of it was more. Yeah, I'll be completely honest. I mean, it's most of it was kind of boring. Magazines, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're great to look at. They're great to look at. The art is just immaculate, and yeah, yeah, yeah. To be honest, um, yeah, most of it was boring. I think so. Nintendo Power was special because it was actually interacting with you. I mean, yes, to an extent it was. Yes, it really was. And I think Nintendo Power was like the only one out of the entire list. The entire, I guess, magazines I took a look at that was actually really interesting because it was actually just like headlines, but it was something special. You know, I I I mean, it was a different time. Don't get me wrong. These different magazines, Computer Gaming World, Gaming Farmer, Electronic Gaming Monthly, they have great cover art. They have great art, but one of the things that puts them so back from Nintendo Power is the fact that you know is the fact that Nintendo is that the fact that it's rid of so much ads and just so much I guess people like to call like nowadays they have to call if people see like bad like I say like really just boring parts they call it filler like it's mostly filler nowadays. Like it's mostly filler where I would like to say it would have been interesting if they had more reviews, they had more I guess interesting things to look about, and I and Nintendo Power is probably one of the very few that really just make it interesting. It really did. And just seeing the Super Mario Bros. 3 issue again, you know, it, it, it just makes it really great. And, you know, the fact that the other magazines, I mean, they did put interesting they put stories in there. Same with Nintendo. But what does it actually give you? It really doesn't give you much of anything. Um, but like I said, it was a different time. People didn't have YouTube or online things yet, where the online was like beginning to happen. But it was not something prevalent like it is now. It really isn't. But like I said, you know, I like taking a look at these, but like I'm just, it just brings me down to a point where it's like, what the hell is this? You know, like Nintendo Power, like I'm gonna quote you for one second here, like you said, Nintendo Power was special. Yeah, the magazine's kind of stink. Yeah, I know it. I mean, and then like you said, Nintendo Power was special. It was actually interacting with you. Yeah, the stream was entertaining. Of course, man. Thank you for tuning in. You know, like and I get like magazines are not like the big thing like nowadays, but I want to check it out because I wanna check out things that are relatively interesting to me, and I thought like magazines are probably a good thing, but after checking these out, man, it's like what the hell? But it was a different time before internet, before other things happened. But, Nintendo tried to shove the strategy guides up our throats. Even the other companies too that produce these particular magazines. I'm not gonna fault them though, but still, though, they could have included much better stuff, and they could have just added a lot more substance to these. They really could, and it's sad to say that because the art is so interesting. It really is, but at the end of the day, like 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 it's just a bunch of ads for upcoming games or games that have been released that you need to check out. But the art is cool. The art is absolutely cool. But you can only do so much with the cover art, with the games that with the cover art and the you can only do so much with the cover art and the little snippets of what they give you in these different games. The baseball one was great. The Duke Nukem one was great. The Final Fantasy one, the art was interesting. You know, that's what pains me about these different magazines. That's what really pains me about them. Art is interesting, but the content could have been much better. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could have been better. I mean, honestly, they're they're pretty much a lot of these magazines are, yeah, like you said, they're 20 plus years old. But they should have done a lot better with those, and I get the headlines were interesting, and I get the headlines were pretty much interesting, but yeah, something about that, I get it, you know just something that I wanted to check out. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it, even though it was just a bunch of just clicking and pointing and reading stuff out for about maybe like an hour or two. But I hope you enjoyed the stream nevertheless. I hope you did. But I I just kind of a little bummed out about how it turned out. But hey, you live and learn, right? You live and learn. And like I said, there's no point in like what he's pointing out now. There's no point in crying about it now since these magazines are like so old, 20 plus years. So just something to think about. So yeah. Thank you very much for tuning into the stream. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Um, you know, I mean, I could have done like a gaming stream, but I have company over right now because company is playing my Switch right now, so um, I'm gonna do the stuff on the list, and I'm gonna probably play like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or Super Smash Bros. For that, yeah, live and learn, of course, right? So yeah, thanks, man, for pointing that out. And I will be doing like the list of games that I'm gonna do. I'm still gonna get to that, and we're gonna play Reservoir Dogs at one point. We are. It's just I need to, of course, get my brother to plug in the PS2 for me because I have no idea where it is. So, and I hope it works, but freaking works. So that it would suck that I had to spend so much money, $15 for this. So yeah, I think about how short life is. Yeah, man, you go and do that. But sure. So, you know, um, you know, maybe the next stream, if you guys want me to, do you guys want me to do another game from the list? Or do you want me to do like a sit down, hangout stream of like Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros. Or like Mario Party where we all can just, play games and I can get the viewers here and just play a game like this, like play a game and get people to you know play some games with me. Yeah, sorry about the $15 if it don't work. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. So yeah, um, yeah. But thank you by the way for saying that because $50 wasted on Reservoir Dogs, and if it doesn't work, it just wouldn't be very fun. So yeah. But yeah, like I said, I'm probably gonna do a poll on this, on next stream if you guys want me to like put down like comments or stuff like that. Like what do you guys wanna see as a stream from first? Yeah, Mario Kart is one you seem to really enjoy. Yeah, I do. I do. I love Mario Kart to pieces. I really do. I just can't play with you. Of course, I mean, if people can't really play with me, I understand. People. You should do a Roblox stream. Maybe is it for free? Let me see. Let me see if I can find. I could totally join you for one of those. Yeah, I would. I would seriously. If cause you know, Roblox. I really would like to get into more games. PC games. Just games in general that that I can play on the PC and kind of not step away completely from console gaming because I love Mario Kart, I love Smash Bros, but I totally love like just checking out these different games, like Half Life 1, Reservoir Dogs, um, all these different games. It's just interesting. It really is just interesting. And Roblox could be one idea. I could I could maybe do a stream of one of those. Roblox is pretty nice, dude. I could totally get that on my PC. I really could. Yeah. Make an account and download the launch, of course. We'll do that, man. We'll do that because honestly, that would be a pretty fun stream to do. Um, I really enjoy that. I've been playing the Godzilla horror game on there. That just kicks butt. Yeah. Honestly, why not? I'll play the Roblox. I'll get it out and download the game. And play. Cause why not? It seems like fun from what you're telling me. So of course. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, like I said, and yeah, tell me what you guys would like to see. I'll make a poll in just a little bit. Thanks so much. Yeah, I would.